Kind of a creepy place where they had.
Oh,
I hated
down
going
those
down
old
there.
lockers. It was so eerie and cold and
Yes, icky down there.
But when we
See
were
those
first
pictures.
married, we kept meat in those lockers underneath the confectionery.
We
Once a
always
week could
did.
go get our meat out of there. And
We did too.
we didn't have, I don't know when we got freezers. I can't remember having the first freezer. Probably when I moved up on Elm, or where I am now.
They used to make good ice cream though. They had licorice ice cream, remember
Oh,
that?
yes.
Confectionery.
Yes.
When we were kids,
They had
I
all
was
kinds
scared to
of-
death of Potlatch.
Oh, yeah.
And I adored ice cream. And we used to go emerald hunting. That was when you walked for 2 miles up Emerald Creek, and it was a little path. Nobody hardly ever but went there. And I don't care how much I liked ice cream, they'd stop there. I wouldn't
Mom,
set
do you want
my
me to
foot
name
outside
on
the car
it?
at Potlatch.
What made
Is
you
that
afraid
right?
of Potlatch?
I don't know, I was just absolutely petrified. No, I would go without ice cream if I had to go in and buy it.
Oh, really?
Because I was no way I'd get out of the car.
confectionery?
Yeah.
Huh.
We
Never
spent a lot of
planned to
time
end
with
up in-
confectionery.
Living here.
No, I didn't. But then after I got used to it, I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Let's see.
Somebody's in there. I hear radio or something going.
I think I just saw Mel Taggart.
Oh, maybe he's in there working.
He's next.
I just want to.
He's still doing surveying, is he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't have. Oh yes, you do have Patty down for the hotel. I'm not even gonna. I mean, her in that hospital. I'll put Violet down for the hospital. I can say Jerry was born there.
I had my tonsils out there.
Did you?
I had a boil last year.
Where was the hardware?
I had these stitches done there.
Wow. Where was the hardware store? In the Mercantile you're talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, okay.
You didn't know the Mercantile?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna
But I
say you
just-
must have, because it burned in '63. I know
Oh,
that.
yes.
Anything to the Mercantile, because
It's the
there
year
was so
my
many
twins were
different
born,
shops
I
in
remember
there.
that.
Audrey Cater worked in the grocery department for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Snur, wasn't it Snur had the meat market? Was he in
Mhm.
charge?
Mhm, Fred Schnurr.
My
Right.
sister worked for Snur's when she was.
I saw his daughter
High
the other
school.
day. She married that Ray Harrison. She was head of the Lake Ark County nursing home for a long time. I saw her the other day.
Hmm.
Her husband used to be a bookkeeper, head bookkeeper there at David's in Moscow.
Some of these I'm not.
How did that transition work then from the company, when they started selling homes here?
That's
in
when I was
town?
working at the bank,
Uh-huh.
and they had escrow payments every payday.
Uh-huh.
Every 2 weeks, they got paid every other Friday. People paid their payments at the bank. We had this old, I don't remember what you call it, this old round thing to figure interest on. You didn't go to the calculator or anything to
Yeah.
figure it. You had to figure it on that. I can't tell you how we did it, but
If you made a mistake, did you have to back it out?
oh, I can't remember. I did a lot of them, but oh, that
Now,
we
what
had
year was-
guys lined up at our windows.
How old were you when you
Yeah.
were doing that?
18.
So you couldn't have been too old when you were doing that.
I started after I graduated from high school. When I was a senior, I started at the bank. Actually, I was 17 probably. Anyway, but they would come in and pay these really, well, you probably know, they were real small house payments, like some of them were $25.
$18 a month we paid.
Yeah, is that all it was? But you had to figure their interest and get it right, And, oh, I hated that because it took so much time. And then make the deposits, take the house payment out.
Well, when did you buy,
Lined up on it.
What does that say?
when did you buy a house? Now,
Japanese boarding
52,
house.
50.
And
Oh,
See, now,
you
this
moved
was,
from
this
housing,
wasn't 52 when I
gardens,
was doing it, it was 55.
Housing, and
Elm
then you probably
Street
had gardens
to,
too.
okay, when you lived on Elm Street, though, you lived in
Vegetable
Cupboard House.
gardens,
And
probably.
then when you moved up in the hill, though, you bought the
That
house.
bought the house.
Did they sell those on Nob Hill first?
I don't
Did they
No.
sell a few at a time?
know. I don't
Because
remember.
this was 55, and I thought they just
52
sold a
we bought
lot
ours.
of them. Yeah.
$3,825. And interest, it was 9 years, interest at 4%.
4%, yeah.
does anybody know anything about Italian gardens?
No, but they had scads of them down here. Make
What,
notes
you
on
mean
that,
food?
on a card somewhere.
You mean
No.
the restaurant?
No, that's that Stiers told me, he said, well, the foundry for my stupid ashtray sat right there by the Italian gardens. And I said, what
Well,
are you
the
talking
Japanese
about? And he
gardens.
said, the Italian gardens that were right down there on the
There
flat.
were
Japanese
gardens
gardens.
too.
Japanese gardens and Italian gardens.
And I asked Ida about it, and she said, I never heard of any Italian gardens.
there were
And I said, well,
Japanese
you guys
and
are
Italian.
Italian. She says, well, we never, she talked like they
They
never
never
got
came
there.
out of Onaway.
They didn't.
They did.
No,
There used to be a big barn down there in the flat
You'll have to write this on one of your
Yeah,
cards.
down
Oh,
by
yeah.
the- you mean as far as the riverside?
for
or-
stabling horses.
Right down
here
at
on
the mill.
At the mill, on the
Oh.
company grounds, for
Oh.
stabling horses.
Oh.
That was there in the 50s.
But wasn't the gardens right there like where the furniture store is and that stuff now? That's what impression I got. I don't know where they
The
were.
store was over here,
Oh, I'm turned
it's
around.
over
The
here.
furniture store's here, yeah.
Mhm.
But no, there was a big old barn down here in the PFI
I've seen the
flat,
pictures
out there
of
where
it.
the log yard was.
That's
There's
where
a
the-
great big red barn down there.
That's where they used to have potlatch
Stabled
days.
horses in there.
I remember being down there,
Oh,
the
yeah.
first potlatch days they
Yeah,
ever had.
well, good man.
I haven't talked to many
Maybe
people who've
several.
heard anything about the Italian gardens.
Well, they were with the Japanese gardens.
And that's where the foundry was that made my ashtray.
Well, what
Your
did
ashtray.
you, what
My
did you do
ashtray.
with the Italian gardens and the Japanese gardens? Eating?
It was
Well,
vegetables.
that
That
was-
was their gardens. They
people here
grew
in
their
town.
food.
Garden, oh,
The
gardens.
people who
Not a
lived,
restaurant, not a restaurant.
I was, yeah, I'm going.
They were
"Why
private
would you
individual-
tell me?"
private individual gardens.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of
okay.
like going into Spokane where they had all the Japanese gardens
Okay,
and
Not-
stuff.
It was not,
Gardens.
it was not,
They grew
the
their,
big garden there in Spokane.
Okay, individual
Private.
gardening area,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, for
Okay.
individuals. Yeah.
but he goes, well, you know, down by the Italian gardens. And I said, no, I
Oh,
don't
man,
know.
they raised
It
some
was
great
way
vegetables
before my
and stuff
time.
down there.
Oh,
For
I
one
imagine they
thing.
did.
And that was this way towards Rockford.
Right down over the flat here.
Well, he
Down where the
told me,
log yard was.
Where was the
He told me-
football field? When I was in school, that's where they
It's right,
played.
right where it is now. Was,
Not when I was in
Oh, no,
school.
that
was-
It was down.
Yeah,
by the
it was
mill.
down
That's
here
right.
too, because when I went to
That
high
was-
school, I was down here to a football game and Jim played and, no, my brother played and Jim played and Jim blooded my brother's nose and I said I was gonna really get that, Jim O'Reilly. And I did.
You did.
okay, right down there
that
with
was
your Japanese, the Italian
the football
garden
field is
somewhere.
where the brickyard was. This
I
football
don't
field.
remember that.
But
I
see,
remember
Stiers told me,
Richfield.
he said down there by where
Elsie
Floyd's
Lathan
has their
and-
store,
He had
the
his-
the
his
Italian
oil
gardens
business
and my
there,
foundry.
where-
Oh, well,
That's what he
he
told
must
me.
be turned around.
It
where
was-
the mechanic shop.
Well, there was
Yeah,
Japanese
right.
houses
The
down there in the
football field
flat
was
where
there
the-
then.
Floyd's is
This
now?
Not when I
football
was
field.
in, not when I
They
was.
must
Maybe
have
they-
just
maybe they
moved
had-
it,
no,
because
maybe
it was there when,
gardens there, too, no.
Because that's what he told me, he said it was
before
down
we,
there by,
well, when I came to
I
school.
said, you mean where the
in,
bottom
uh,
of confectionery was,
47
that flat? And he said, yes.
Okay, they
Well,
moved
it
it
might
up
be
there
right down
shortly
behind
after
that
that.
confectionery
I'm gonna
then
go.
because
I'm gonna interview him,
But it,
Yeah.
Stiers.
but they said that
Yes,
used to
I
be the
am.
brickyard.
He must have lived
And
here.
so it's hard as a
Well,
rock,
I've
the
got
ground
some
is
more
terrible,
copies of
and they
things
find
made.
all kinds of stuff in it.
I want to bring that computer up here,
over there.
Bruce,
She
and,
finds bricks.
right, clear one of these desks off and use it, because, then I can set that computer up and we can just make our forms right off of that, instead of worrying about a copier, we'll just print them on your printer. It's an old Macintosh, and we'll just put these forms right on the,
They were already on
on
the computer? They were already, is this where you got, did you make these up?
no,
From your Macintosh?
Barb made them.
Oh.
But we've been making copies off of it, and we don't have a copier,
Mm.
but if we put it on the computer, we
Yeah.
can make, then we can just print them with
Do
print.
you have a scanner?
No, I don't have.
I don't have a scanner either, I kinda wished I did. I'll make some more copies, I
you
could
didn't
give
write
over.
anything on here about Italian gardens.
No, I told you to add that to
Okay.
your,
Well, I'm just gonna stick it on a card here.
yeah, I go down there, I figure I give Wilbur Ellis enough money, I go down and use their
Well,
copy
on the other
machine.
side of them.
So I'll go down and make a bunch of copies of it.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
figure, they don't say anything,
well, that's,
yeah.
yeah, we've kind of moseyed around all over the place.
Well, I'm sure they don't, they don't care because they're helping out and
Oh, well, okay, here's a good one too, I ought to get for each of you. Topics and memory triggers for personal or family history. Topics, characteristics of childhood, characteristics of adolescence, characteristics of early adulthood, characteristics of prime adulthood. Ah, that's
You
interesting.
mean when we were that age? Is that what they're,
Yeah.
I don't
when-
remember much.
the only one you have?
Yeah, that's the only one I have. See, I've gotta get all those, I've gotta get the, if I can get them all on that computer, I'm gonna just print them right off there.
If we could have a kind of a packet of different things, would
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah.
It's too bad you didn't know someone had a scanner that you could just scan them.
Well, yeah.
Just as easy to print them off, so it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but don't you have to get them on there first?
Well, she
She's
could,
got
on a
one.
copy machine, she could
Copy scans is what it does.
Oh,
And-
okay,
and does it.
okay.
Yeah, you mean you put
Right.
it into the computer, it doesn't take that long to.
Right, well, I wasn't thinking, I thought you were putting them on a computer and printing them off. I thought that's.
That's what
That's what
I'm
she's gonna do.
going to do though, yeah.
you already got it on your computer, haven't you?
Well, she had it on, she had some of these forms on her
Mhm.
computer.
Do you wanna know anything about the early harvesting days, the sack sores, the cookhouses, and,
Sure.
uh,
Flunkies and late and.
how they had transportations and how they got to school and
Yeah.
crap shoots and dancing and roller skating. I've got all that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I've got that as just topics we could ask about.
My dad used to talk about the 20 mule teams
Oh, yeah.
from Lewiston did they mine
Boy.
borax?
That,
Did they have a borax mine?
Mm.
Or is that just the commercial?
Well, there's a
20
40 mule team. Borax used to advertise, wasn't it 40 mules?
can't remember, I was trying to count those
I
horses
can
that were on
remember
that
20,
Maury McCown's,
It took that many horses to
24.
Oh, yeah.
haul whatever they were
24
hauling.
horses on that combine that Maury McCown was showing pictures of.
Oh,
was
I'm
it, was
on
it
here.
32?
And the first
Was it 80?
motorized combine, and it got tipped over out here by Riverside.
Oh.
First motorized
On the road, on
combine.
the highway?
Well, there's
Oh,
some,
on
on
the
Violet's
field.
barnyard before Fred and Violet, before Fred's folks moved there in 1919. The picture that's got Devella's father, I think there's 52 horses. In the same barn, the same water trough, everything is still sitting there.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they really don't look a lot different.
They used
Do you
a lot of
find
horses.
anybody that worked, any women that worked in the mill during the war?
Yeah, I don't
Well, Audrey
know.
Cato was one,
Okay,
Audrey?
well, we need to get her interviewed.
and she doesn't want to fill
She
these
doesn't
out.
wanna
She
do
didn't
that.
fill it out.
Oh,
Mary
she'd
Morris
maybe
might
talk
know a
about
lot
that
of-
though, wouldn't she?
She'd talk about working at the mill, wouldn't she?
I would think so, I don't
A
know.
lot of people would rather talk than write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know,
even if they don't want, if they don't like the tape recorder, fine, you know, just to sit and listen to them and write a few things down, I think would be
well, there
fine.
was some of those pictures I gave you, they had their pictures in there. I
Oh,
mean,
that's right.
Audrey's picture was in there, and I can't remember who else was in there, but,
Yeah.
she was in there on that picture I gave you.
Okay.
And that was during the war, when they were working in the mill, because I was
Okay.
working up here in the post office when the war was on.
See, one of the ideas we had for an exhibit would be, the working people, you know, well, the men, it's not hard to get a lot of pictures and things, but the women, we like to do maybe something on them working in the mill during the war.
Orvetta's mother worked at the mill. And they'll be
Well,
home
she
pretty
would be a
soon.
good one to interview.
she's
You know
gone.
Orvetta?
Oh, yeah,
She's my sister-in-law.
yeah, well, wouldn't you, you
Yeah.
should invent,
I'm putting it
yeah,
down right next to
her
my brother.
mother-in-law.
Well,
You've got a list there, a mile long.
Well, I'm gonna try to get Stiers and Gambetti's and Charlotte, and of course I'll get Violet, and I'll work
What
that way.
stires are you talking
The one that has told me all about the Italian gardens and my ashtray and the foundry that made it, that no one else knows anything about. The one that runs the antique shop, Annette's dad.
Did he live here?
I don't know, he said he used to play down there by the foundry and play pool with the
Vanette
guy.
Pettibone's dad?
Yeah.
Ah.
I thought they
He
were
has the
from Blues.
antique, well, he is.
I know she has a lot of,
He's the one that told me all the stuff about the ashtray.
uh-huh.
Well,
See?
maybe he did live here.
Because he's the one that told me to call Gambetti's, which I did, and
Uh-huh.
talked to him for a while,
Uh-huh.
and, who wasn't much help either. And then he mentioned Vera Osterlund. She had no idea what I was talking about. So he must know something about Potlatch history.
Yeah.
Well, Vera came in when she was in high school, I think, didn't she?
I don't have any
when she
idea.
came here.
Her parents died, and she came to live with her aunt and uncle. They lived on Knob Hill, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know what her maiden name was. But she used to take voice lessons from Blanche.
Was
second
she
assistant.
Elof Aspid's, she was related to,
And
She
she
was
was-
related to Lynn Johnston's mother. I think they're the ones she might have stayed
Has
with.
anybody interviewed Lee Gale?
Barb Coiner's working on it.
What about Bill Wright? He would
He would be
he
another
would
one.
know a lot about the mill.
That's right.
Man,
Bill
Sure
Wright.
will. Ellen's husband out here.
Melvis.
Melba Dials.
Right out
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay.
He has a lot of, Diamond keeps saying, have you talked to Bill Wright? And I said, no, I keep forgetting to ask him. He has a lot of pictures and things too.
You want to interview him?
Well, I guess I could if I had the list of questions, I wouldn't mind doing it.
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
we'll have that pretty soon next
Just
time.
like,
Yeah.
just like taking this,
I could take this to him.
this list of stuff here that I gave you and just ask
Or
him
take
about
Or
it.
he has pictures,
Mhm.
just have him get the pictures out and
Sometimes when they-
start talking.
They start talking, that just,
And just,
Reminds them of something else.
Say, well, what picture is this? And then you'll know what picture it is, what's in the picture, and
Yeah.
something
he's-
like that.
Now,
He would have a lot of information.
me
Would you like for me to list
Judy,
these things
JDI.
that I have here
Yeah.
and put them on a list on a
Well,
sheet and give you the
yeah.
sheet and you could just go down and ask certain
These are the
people
people
about
that
these
work.
things?
I
I've been to our
wrote you
meetings.
that I thought my mom would know. Now, Bill Wright, he's been here for, I don't know, how long? Forever.
Well,
For a long time.
Eileen was.
well, Eileen
Eileen
was
was
a
raised
She
here.
graduated with
Eileen
Jim.
would know
Well, so
quite a
did
bit,
Carl
too.
Schultz.
Mhm.
Says
And
that
Carl.
he'd be. I could walk with him one day and interview him.
Carl?
He walks the track too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He goes down
Well,
there and walks
I would-
almost every day.
We could get Bill and Eileen at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Eileen was.
Well, if you want to use the tape recorder, let me know.
I'll try
Okay.
one, I'll see how mine's
Okay.
working.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have one, so I'd have to.
We gotta get Doris Kinman started.
That would be, that's where someone should start at 96 years old. I mean,
And
she would
Elvin
be.
Gosling, I've gotta get him started. He claims that his house was used by the Indians or the people that were going to Cataldo, and it was a stopover for getting refueling horses,
where he
Oh,
lives
really?
now.
taking baths, and going on to,
So they said there was an on-way stage stop. I
well,
remember
that's what
that.
he says,
Yeah.
that's what
Where
it
he
is.
lives now.
Uh-huh.
I've heard him, people
That's what
talking
he
about
claims,
that.
that his place there now is where they had that.
That must have been
Jerry
a
Strandon
long
would have
time
been a
ago.
good one, because he
Huh?
can
That
remember
must have
when
been
he
a
was
long
a
time
kid.
ago.
Yeah.
Of course, see, 89, he was 27 when Violet was born, I think, so that would make him 27 and 89, 88. And he went, when the Indians would come through, right there where that barn is that we keep hay just up from the Murray place, they would camp there
Mhm.
on that
Yeah.
knoll. And he, you know, oh, he was full of stories. Oh, drive me crazy. Shut up. But it was very interesting when he talked about going up the lake and the trail and
Uh-huh.
the Indians. I mean, they were neighbors.
Yeah.
It was right there by the Clark place, you know, just by where we live. And
Uh-huh.
Now, Verna Clark's, where did they live? Verna Comstock.
Clark,
just around,
just
around the corner
past-
from us.
Yeah, just past,
When you
Murray
go by
place.
Murray Place, and then just go straight and go around that sharp corner in that White House, that's where they lived.
Oh, okay.
And then see between their place and Alice Waddell's, when you go up the hill, there's a water pump that sits back and ways, that's where Violet lived. It's not this place isn't there anymore.
If I made copies of this and hung them out here, would you guys want to come and pick them up there?
Sure, I would do that.
work? That
Mhm.
might be a place
Yeah.
where we could do it.
I
It's
don't,
just-
I'd like to have something like that before I start on this.
Yeah, I could take an envelope like this
Okay.
and just pin it up out there, and I'll fill that with extras of these, and then you guys can take a copy and use them however you want. Then we wouldn't have to try to meet somewhere to
Uh-huh.
exchange things, or me try to
Right.
mail it to you or whatever, and then you could pick them up if you need more. I'll just make sure there's some there all the time.
Oh yeah, I can go in and, when are you gonna do this?
I probably would have time tomorrow to get them typed up, so give me like till Friday.
So after I walked on Friday or something, if I walk, I could get them in.
Okay. Yeah.
In case I'm not making 2 trips to town, which I normally do, so it's no big deal.
I was just wondering if you wanted anything on how they did their laundries, how they canned and stored their fruits and vegetables, and how they did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I remember from the Palouse River, we used to go down and get blocks of ice and bring it up and pack it in cement. I mean, in sawdust.
Sawdust.
Got an
and
ice
then
house.
make ice cream on the 4th of July.
My
Boy, what a
grandparents had
treat.
an ice house.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Now, when did you go to get the ice? Did you do it like in
In the
February?
winter time, when it was,
When it broke
yeah.
up, huh?
Or we had, well, no, they go down there and
You
chisel
saw
it out.
Saw it?
Did you ever have accidents? Nobody-
No, not from doing that.
No?
Used to cut all the wood in the winter time. That was a wintertime project.
Mhm.
I can remember one year, we talk about snowstorms around here. I can remember one winter, mother worked in the post office, and I was in Palouse, and Dad was marooned out there on the farm by Bob Lindsay's for 3 weeks. And he shoveled to the barn to milk the cows and feed them, he shoveled to the pigs, he shoveled to the chicken house, and shoveled his way back and blow in that fast. For 3 weeks, he was out there by himself.
Violet said when she went in labor with Jerry, they had to hook the car to a tractor and pull it to the highway
Yeah.
because they couldn't get out.
Is that your husband?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
he was born, yeah.
They had to come and clear out to my mom's place.
Yes, a lot
Same
further.
year.
Is that
I
right?
barely made it.
What year was that?
38.
Jerry was
I
born in
remember when-
December 37.
It was just a-
You know, they lived in she moved in the house with Fred's folks and 2 brothers. Can you imagine? And the brothers went out and hooked the car to the tractor and pulled the car to the
Was
highway.
this her first baby?
Uh-huh. She was born the 27th of December.
Oh,
It must have been a bad year
Or
because
we
it
used to have
was
some awful
February when I
storms.
was born, and it
They
was bad.
had, what do they call those snowplows that blew the snow away? Rotary snowplows?
The rotaries.
Oh, I can
Yeah, I remember a winter,
Oh, yeah.
the highway out there
Um,
was, they had to use the
In
rotary.
the Cove,
Whole
in
week, I suppose.
68, didn't they use one of those in the Four Corners? We
Uh,
had that bad winter of 68.
This was
Because I
back in
remember
the
we were
50s
snowed in
that I
for 3
remember.
days. And they could, none of the regular city equipment, they had to hire Latham's and all that big equipment he had to clean out the
Yeah.
cove. Because that was the winter that I had a neighbor for 2 days. And then finally, we couldn't take anymore and we had him walk up to Fred's and help Fred, and then he walked home. He lived over there where you used to live. John and, well, they lived there in 60, Dexter.
I can't remember their last name.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about? There was
Well-
Martha and Juana and,
I never did know those people.
anyway, that's where they lived. And I had to put up with it for a while.
49, that was a big snowstorm
Yes,
too,
49
because Connie
was-
was born that year, and I was up here on Elm Street at that time, and Jim was working, well, he was for Potlatch, but he was out with the dozer. And here in town, we couldn't move a vehicle for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he was plowing snow, and he'd go just like this and tip it way over the top, right here in town.
Huh.
I remember Diamond saying they were out of school. He went to school in Garfield at that time. They were out for 3 weeks. It was that bad. They'd
Was there
ski to
pictures
town.
of that, I wonder?
They'd ski to town, but they couldn't go to school.
I can remember Herb Perros and Kyle King, I think, were working on the roads out on the way, and they would plow snow, and the people got angry because they plowed the snow to open the main thoroughfare,
Yeah.
but when they plowed it, they closed in the driveways. Well, then that made them angry. They didn't want to have to come out and shovel them, and they were mad at the postmaster because he wouldn't get out of
Deliver
his
the mail.
vehicle and put their mail in their box.
I wonder if Rosie King would be another one. Has she been here?
She's got her
I've
name.
interviewed her,
Okay.
but she hasn't talked about this kind of thing. Hers was more like her growing up here and her family.
She was raised here,
Yeah.
too.
Well, she came here later. She came
Oh,
from
really?
Montana.
Oh,
Mhm.
I thought Crosses were here.
No,
Oh.
she came here from Montana. No, she's got the tape, but I had her talk on it a couple different
I think Violet
times.
was born right
Yeah.
out there.
My mom
on the
was
park
too,
where-
right out there on the
Mhm.
creek.
So you have interviewed your mother?
Not yet, but I will.
The thing of it is, we never know when we're waiting too long.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
ladies,
that'll
thank
work,
you.
Carol,
Yeah,
if we can do
Did we
that, that'll
accomplish
work.
what you planned on
Yeah.
doing?
yeah.
Did you have any plans for accomplishing something tonight?
No, I just wanted to let you guys know what we have here. Does anybody want to take this and listen
I
to
don't
it
want
and
to
find
yet.
out if, there's a, I started listening to
That's
it.
the regular videotape, isn't it?
It's a videotape and it appears to be some woman talking about taking oral histories. And the first part of it, I just got into it a little ways, and she says, you know, you have to know what the history is, not, you know, just of the area where you're at, but, you know, like at the Pacific Northwest, you have to know kind of what's going on elsewhere to kind of put it in perspective with what you're, you know, doing, so you kind of have an idea of what's, you know, what to compare it to. So, but if somebody wants to take it and watch it, they can, otherwise I'll take it home and watch it, and then I
Well,
can.
I don't want it now, I know that.
Okay.
And I'll start out
Thank you,
with Violet, and she'll be my practice. Then we'll go down to that man at the pawn shop, see if that picture's still there. See if I can get it away from him.
Maybe you'll hit them someday when somebody else is in there and they'll give it to you for $50.
Well, I thought if you donate it for a tax write-off and
Yeah.
advertisement.
Yeah.
See, that's my plan.
Uh-huh.
Well, if it's still there,
Is it like apple pie?
I don't know, maybe it's out wrong